as we say that S&P publishes this report called SPIVA, which is Standard and Poor's Index versus Active, which clearly has been now demonstrating for the past 10 years that, especially in the large cap space, passive is probably a better idea because active fund managers have been consistently underperforming the benchmark, which is the BSE 100. Now, not only has that been a trend, now we're seeing that trend even follow suit in the mid cap segment. So, that leads us to a question: are active fund managers really, outperforming benchmarks? Probably not. Then, from an exposure perspective, one has to understand that are you in a position where you are able to pin down that exact active fund manager who is actually outperforming those benchmarks? There are more than 50%, at least in the latest report, 50% of active fund managers who have underperformed the BSE benchmark this time in the large cap space. As you move it into that's in the 1 year category, as you move in the 5 year, 10 year category, that moves towards the 80%. And that has been a trend not only in India, but also globally. So that really creates a case for passive. Further, the reason why anybody should look at index investing is the exposure you get. It's you reduce your concentration risk, you're in a basket of stocks, you can get into asset classes, you can get into thematics, you can get into geographical exposures, there are endless amount of opportunities and options that you have. And today we are foraying into newer concepts like ESG, within sustainability, metaverse, crypto. So the options are endless, and that's what gives passive an advantage. There has been an exponential growth in at least the last decade, and especially the last 1 year, that we've been seeing in passives. We have seen markets move from maybe just under a million to over $1 billion right now. We are like over 60 odd $1 billion in the industry. So the market in India has definitely grown. One of the things that was stark last year was the international diversification that people underwent. So we did see exposures into the S&P 500, the US markets. There was exposure into other markets. So what indexing primarily provided an avenue to people to access not only market beta, but cut across geographical boundaries. So I'm extremely optimistic about the way passive is growing out in India, not only which is significantly staying within market beta options, but exploring into thematics, exploring into more concepts. And I think we're seeing product providers also looking and promoting this aspect. So as index providers, we'll keep providing options to product providers and hoping that they will create more options.